This evening, great afternoon for high school softball. A lot of clouds in the sky, but the sun is just peeking through now and again. And it's a warm afternoon, about 80 degrees here in Atlantic. As the Trojans come in at 7-2, and they bounced back last night with a 13-2 win over Shenandoah after a loss to Creston on Wednesday night. Meanwhile, the Midgets from Estherville Lincoln Central, they have a record of 5-0 coming into the contest this evening. And talking to their head coach, walking here the dugout here earlier on, Roger Warren, he was mentioning, we really haven't been tested.
Right.
We know we will be today.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think after Thursday night or after Wednesday night down at Creston, I think that kind of woke us up a little bit that, hey, we got to pay attention at the bat, because that's probably what struggled the most was at the bat. And listen to the interview of the pitchers. They got to hit their spots and things like that. And it might have been a good thing to just kind of wake them up that they came back last night and took care of business. And, you come out 13-2. That's waking up.
Well, they 8-0 right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's right.
So they were ready to go.
Yeah, I guess I've always been one that, you want to pick your pitches and you want to learn how to be a good batter. But if you're swinging, there wasn't a pitch that I couldn't at least make contact with.
You bet. And we're going to see some good pitchers here today. We'll check out Peyton McLaren. She's had a great start this season. ERA is under 2. Riley Yeager has some very impressive numbers as well. We'll get to those here a little bit later on. Atlantic taking infield right now. Our broadcast brought to you by Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll. Also brought to you by the First Whitney Bank, for the only bank you'll ever need, First Whitney Bank. Body Basic, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics. And the Seed Pros, so by your side to maximize yields from the word go. Your Pioneer Pros, John Becker, Mark Ventiger, Gary Dinkla, and Nick Knutson. Also brought to you by Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors, and 2nd Street Auto, your transmission pros. Outfitters Plus Outlet Store. Again, your home for personalized sports apparel in Atlantic. And the Super Bowl. We'll grab the gang and head to the Super Bowl for Globe Bowling every Friday and Saturday night. Switta, they're safe, reliable Switta for all your transportation needs. And Stein Seed. Stein has yield. Contact Darren Petty, your local Stein representative. Also brought to you by Hy-Vee, Bakery, Deli, Grocery, Meat Department, and Pharmacy. Always there for you, your Atlantic Hy-Vee. Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned full-line CarQuest retail store in Atlantic. And Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, a hometown bank for hometown people, member FDIC. Greg Young Automotive Group in Atlantic, they go the extra mile for you. And Olson's BP, great food, Godfather's Pizza, and quality BP fuel to keep you going company in Atlantic. And Oak Point Wealth Management, Aaron Friend, Oak Point Wealth Management, located inside Snyder & Associates in Atlantic. We're back with more pregame with Roger Warren. Our live video stream is powered by Nishnanet, and you can watch it on westerniowatoday.com, KS957, and YouTube.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Whitney Bank is the longest-standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Whitney Bank, the only bank you'll ever need.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglect protecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end. This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
Welcome back to Atlantic as we're getting set for game one here. Atlantic hosting the Midgets from Estherville, Lincoln Central. The Midgets are undefeated at 5-0. Atlantic at 7-2 coming in with losses only to Creston and Missouri Valley. And they're off to a great start here this season. Roger Warren, what have you been most impressed with as far as Atlantic here so far?
Well, I'll tell you what, just watching them, the games that they get the bat on the ball, they can put some runs up. I've been impressed with our three pitchers. I think one of the things that, you got three pitchers that you can play. The one thing that I think they're going to really have to work on is Zoe and McLaren do a great job. They're just not quite to that level that we still got to play defense. I mean, they're going to strike a lot of people out, but it came to a head there at Creston. They just smacked the snot out of the ball.
That's it, like pretty hard.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you what, they, I know Zoe said that in one of the interviews was she's got to get her, hit her positions, hit the slots.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting this coming Tuesday, because they turn right around and play Creston here.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we'll
I
have
think
that
it'll be
broadcast too, by the way.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit different ball game. I think they'll come prepared, but they can hit the ball. But the point is we need to too. It's just get up there and put the bat on the ball.
Coming in, the Midgets have a batting average of .379, on base percentage about 47%, .477, and they can slug it at .548 coming in here this afternoon. For Atlantic, averaging .341. On base percentage of .427, so they're right in there. And they have a slugging percentage of .558, so just a little bit more power than what Estherville Lincoln Central has shown so far this season. And I'll tell you what, for Atlantic, they have 8 home runs so far, and we saw 4 of those against Harlan Community.
Yeah, absolutely. In
that doubleheader here earlier in the week. On Monday night, we had quite a game there, and the wind was blowing, there's no doubt about it.
Yep.
But 4 home runs there. Lila Wiederstein has 4 for Atlantic so far. Zoe Kirchhoff with a pair. Jillian Satoff has a home run. And Peyton McLaren also with the dinger as well for Atlantic. When you look at the Midgets, so they have just a couple of home runs this season. Haley Stokes has one of those. And Hillary Rushy, the catcher, has gone yard for Coach Anderson and Estherville Lincoln Central. Atlantic head coach Terry Hinsman and Coach Anderson meeting with the 3-man crew here for this softball game here this afternoon, and assisted by Coach Derek Handel and Molly O'Hara. Coach Handel handles the hitters, and Coach Molly O'Hara handles the pitchers. She calls those pitches for McLaren and Kirchhoff. And we've seen Bryn Lamp in the circle as well, and we saw her in the Harlan game. She's pitched in a couple of more before that, but she has some zip on the ball as well. Getting set for our starting lineups, Mr. Bryce Smith, our PA man here for today. We'll get rolling here, and here he goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trojan Stadium, home of Atlantic Trojan softball. Tonight's matchup will see the Estherville Lincoln Central Midgets face off against your Atlantic Trojans. The visiting team is led by head coach Megan Anderson. Your home Trojans are led by head coach Mr. Terry Hinsman. He is assisted by Coach Molly O'Hara and Coach Derek Handel. Officials for tonight's contest are Mr. Gary Wax, Mr. Shane Weigel, and Mr. Troy Nicholas. As a proud member of the Iowa Girls High School Sports Athletic Union, we would like to wish all participants from all schools good luck
Let's take a look at the starters here as Bryce Smith will bring him to the crowd here. And we're not a large crowd yet, but we're seeing a few out of the center field.
Well, you got to keep in mind, we're starting here at 3:30.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people at work.
And you can tune in and watch this on our live video stream, WesternIdahoToday.com, KS957. And it's powered by Nishtadad. For the midgets, leading off will be Kara Schultz, and she'll play center field. Batting second, Riley Yeager. Riley will be in the circle for Estherville. Haley Stokes bats third and playing right field. Batting cleanup, Hillary Rushy, and she'll catch. Batting fifth, Casey Breckwald, and she'll play first base. Batting sixth, Grace Nath. She'll play third. Gracie Harris, the DP, batting for Ariana Beekman, the shortstop. And Harris bats seventh. Batting eighth, Kylie Schneider, the second base person. And batting ninth, Addison Hoagie. She'll play out in left field. For Atlantic, they'll lead off with Lila Wiederstein behind the plate. Batting second will be McKenna Schrader, the center fielder. Batting third, Zoe Kirchhoff, the shortstop. Batting fourth for Atlantic, Dylan Ball playing right field. Batting fifth will be Peyton McLaren, the pitcher for Atlantic. Batting sixth, Jillian Satoff. She'll play first base. Batting seventh will be Claire Schroeder at third. Batting eighth, McKenna Sontag, the second base person, the lone senior on this softball team. And batting ninth will be Adler Bruce, the left fielder for the Trojans. And Atlantic, they've had a busy schedule, Roger.
Oh, yeah, especially this week.
They've played Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. They've got a doubleheader here today, and then they'll play on Saturday a couple of games in that tournament tomorrow.
Well, I know they said there's 4 teams. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't get 3 games in.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, you get. So you just play a round robin and you play 3 games, and I tell you what, that makes a heck of a weekend.
No doubt about it. And then they'll be right back at it early next week. Hall of Fame night coming up on Tuesday, and we'll have that broadcast. Creston back here in Atlantic. They just played last week, and Creston got the best of the Trojans. And we'll have baseball coming up next week. Glenwood at Atlantic. We'll have our baseball broadcast on Thursday, June 12th, with pregame with Coach Block. And the baseball team, a winner last night.
Yes, they did.
They came from behind. They rallied to beat Shenandoah 8-7. How about that? And the Trojans, they have been in every game,
Yeah,
Roger.
they've played pretty well. They just haven't been able to get over the hump.
We'll take a timeout here as the Atlantic Color Guard is here for our national anthem. Opening pitch coming up right after
Ladies
this.
and gentlemen, let's play.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
Welcome back to Atlantic as Peyton McLaren warms up for the Trojans. Atlantic 7-2 coming in. Estherville Lincoln Central 5-0. And McLaren 3-1 in the season, 25 innings pitched. She's faced 93 batters. Team's hitting 183 against her. She's been effective. She's allowed 8 runs on 17 hits, 20 strikeouts, 4 walks, ERA of 1.66. She throws strikes, Roger Warren.
You bet.
And good defense behind her. Adler Bruce in left. McKenna Schrader in center field. Dylan Ball in right. Third base is Claire Schroeder. Shortstop is Zoe Kirchhoff. At second is McKenna Sontag. Jill Satoff at first. McLaren in the circle for Atlantic, and Witterstein with the gun for an arm behind the plate for the Trojans, and we're getting set to go here. Leadoff batter Cora Schultz will stand in, hitting .294 in the season. We are underway here as McLaren gets the sign. Here's the pitch, swung on. There's a dive to left field. That's going to be a base hit and more. Schultz will round first base and cruise into second base with a stand-up double, and the Midgets get off to a great start with the double to left field.
Well, that one came down the line just a little bit, right down the line and tough to get to.
So 1 on and nobody down right out of the gate for Estherville Lincoln Central. Riley Yeager, the catcher, will step in. A left-handed batter. Or excuse me, Yeager, the pitcher, I should say.
Yep.
Left-handed hitter. Here's the pitch on the way. She's a slapper. Looks at one high and in. The count is 1-0. So Schultz hitting .294. And now Yeager at the plate hitting .833 on the season.
Yeah.
I said that right. .833.
Okay.
We'll give you those numbers in a moment. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled straight back. Yeager is senior.
You sure you read that right?
Yep, .833. And I don't blame you because she is 10 of 12 from the plate, Roger.
Well, that's .833.
And I am not offended by you asking me to repeat that because that is about as high as you can get. Here's the pitch to Yeager. She'll slap it foul again. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. When you look at her numbers, she was 10 of 12. She scored 5 runs, 8 singles, 1 double and 1 triple, 7 RBI. And she has 1 sacrifice in there as well. Here's the 1-2 pitch from McLaren on the way. Swung on, hit high, right center field, back. Schrader giving chase. That's to the fence. Schultz will score from third. Yeager racing to third to make a big swing and stand up and gets the red light from Coach Anderson there. And the Midgets on top, 1-0. Back-to-back deep hits.
In by Yeager. I'll bring up the number 3 batter.
Well, I'll tell you what, just watching the way she bats, she's going to hit the ball someplace.
16,
just whether or not you can get to it.
That .833 batting average just went up again.
Yes, it did.
Warren. And she's got a triple and an RBI. 1-0 Midgets. Top of the first inning. Here's Haley Stokes at the plate. McLaren pitches, bunt right in front of the plate. McLaren charges, fires to first, covering nicely. Sontag throws home, not in time. Yeager will score from third. And Stokes thrown out at first base. 2-0 Midgets here in the top of the first inning.
Thrown out at first base.
The Trojans get a 1-4. Sontag covering for Atlantic from second to first. They executed that well.
Yeah, they executed well. It was just, if you got a good bunt, you can try to run her back, but then you're going to leave somebody on the base.
The batter is Hillary Rushy. Nobody on. Nobody out. 2 in for Estherville. The pitch to Rushy. Just missed outside. The count is 1-0. Casey Breckwald on deck for Estherville Lincoln Central. As Rushy, the cleanup batter for the Midgets, a right-handed hitter. Here's the pitch. Low for a ball. 2-0 the count. Infield for Atlantic. Schroeder at third. Kirchhoff at short. McKenna Sontag at second. And Satoff at first. Battery is McLaren and Witterstein. 1-1 the count. 2-0 Midgets. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count, with 1 out, I should say.
Yep.
Nobody on, 1 out, 2 in. Stokes with that bunt, driving home a run. Yeager with the other RBI with that triple after Schultz double to lead off the game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's in the dirt. 2-2 the count. McLaren has only walked to 4 batters this season. She has 20 strikeouts and a good ERA of 1.66. She's faced 95 batters when you count the 2. In fact, 96 batters. You count the 3 she's faced. That pitch is lifted high and deep
Should
left.
be caught.
Bruce is there, and the junior makes the catch for Atlantic.
Hot fly to the left side is caught by the left fielder for Atlantic. That's Adler Bruce.
Casey Breckwald will stand in.
Now up to bat for ELC. It's number 4.
Nobody
Casey
on and 2
Breckwald.
down for Estherville Lincoln Central. They've got 2 in. They lead 2-0, top of the first. Casey Breckwald will hit the first base person. A left-handed batter for the Midgets. 2-zip, 2 runs on 2 hits for Estherville. Here's the pitch coming. That's a strike called. The count is 0-1. Nice pitch by McLaren. Atlantic outfield playing Breckwald straight away.
Yep.
Breckwald, the 5th hitter of the Midgets lineup. McLaren gets the sign from Wiederstein. Wings it in. Swing and a miss. And the count is 0-2 as Peyton McLaren works ahead the sophomore right-hander. Looking to get out of the inning after 2 deep hits. 2 straight outs. Haley Stokes
Doesn't want to give her anything good here.
Here's the
Make her
0-2
chase.
pitch
Make her
on
chase.
the way. Half swing. Did you go strike 3?
Yep. Got it.
So McLaren able to get out of the inning. Atlantic allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors. And nobody left after 1 half. Estherville Lincoln Central 2. Atlantic coming to bat in the bottom half of the first.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
2-0. Estherville Lincoln Central with the lead. They scored 2 runs on 2 hits. A double by Schultz, a triple by Yeager. Yeager had an RBI, and Haley Stokes had a run batted in as well. The Atlantic will lead off with Lila Wiederstein here in the bottom half of the first. Yeager in the circle, fires a strike on the outside edge, and the count is 0-1. And Yeager is impressive in the circle as she is at the plate. 26 innings pitched, 263 batters.
That's going to drop.
Now it's a deep fly ball that to the wall. Wiederstein will race to second. She gets the green light, will head to third. And here's the throw, and now they're not going to throw it because Wiederstein has too much speed.
Yeah, she was not.
Oh, man, just like that, Wiederstein tags Yeager deep right center field. Went to the crook of the fence, and she gets a triple to lead off the bottom half of the first.
There was no hesitation at second base.
I don't even know if she looked for the light there.
No.
But we're back into...
well, she could see where the ball was at when she was rounding second, so she knew what to do.
Back to Yeager, 4-0. 26 innings. She has 263 pitches coming in, and she has an ERA of 0. She's allowed 1 run on 6 hits. She's walked a pair, struck out 56 batters in 26 innings, but not Wiederstein.
No.
And she triples to right center. Here's the pitch coming in to Schrader. That pitch is outside for ball. The count is 1-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's going to pitch strikes, so just sit in there and find the ball. You're going to be able to get hits.
Wiederstein hitting .545 before that triple. Here's the pitch. There's a nice bunt right back where it came from. Here's the throw at the plate. Nobody is out as Yeager thought maybe the runner was going to score from third, and Schrader's safe at first.
I couldn't see because of the window. Did the second baseman get over there in time to make the play?
I didn't see that either. I was watching the throw and watching third, but the courtesy runner for Atlantic is staying there.
Well, she played.
I believe that's Reese Ball is at third.
Reese did a good job.
The batter for Atlantic is Zoe Kirchhoff with runners at the corners. Kirchhoff has a stout batting average as well. Here's the pitch, high and away. There goes the runner, Schrader, on to second base. So Atlantic's got a chance here. They're down 2-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. Zoe Kirchhoff is at the plate, and she's hitting .625 on the season. Kirchhoff is 20 of 32. What a start she's had. That pitch is swung on and missed. Throw down the third base line, gets away.
Go.
Reese Ball will come home as it gets into left field, and Atlantic on the board, 2-1. Here in the bottom half of the first inning.
Trojans score.
And Schrader goes on to third base on the wild throw down the third base line. So the batter for Atlantic is Kirchhoff. She remains at the plate, 0-2 the count. Yeager looks to the dugout and gets the sign. At third is Schrader. 2-1 Estherville Lincoln Central. And a lot of time taken here by Yeager. Now she's ready to go. The pitch coming. There's a line drive to center field, base hit. That'll drive home a run, and the Trojans tie it up at 2-2 with Kirchhoff with an RBI single out into center field. How about that start?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just like, kind of like I said, put the bat out there, the thing's going to go. You just got to find it.
For Atlantic, it's going to be number 10,
Dylan Ball will stand in, the right fielder for Atlantic. Trojans tied up at 2-2. Wittgenstein with a triple. Reese Ball scores for her. Schrader with a single. A bunt single, and then the RBI by Kirchhoff scores 2. Swing and a miss.
Good swing. That's all right.
1-1 the count to Dylan Ball.
Contact, and it's going to go places.
Had a good start to the season as well for Atlantic, hitting .393. 1 on, nobody down. 2-2 game. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. The batter is Ball. McLaren on deck. Here's the pitch, high for a ball. They fake it down at first base, and Kirchhoff is back. Kirchhoff, again, we mentioned her batting average. What a start to the season for her, .625. Just gets her 21st hit of the year. She had 11 singles coming in. She has 12 singles, 7 doubles, a couple of home runs, 18 RBI, now 19 RBI. Throw down to first, not in time. Kirchhoff at first. She'll pitch in game number 2 for Atlantic. 2 balls and a strike to Dylan Ball. 1 on and nobody down. A 2-2 game. Wittgenstein triples and scores. Schrader singles and scores. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and tipped right side out of play. And the count is now 2-1. 2-2. There we go. 2-2 the count. Ball a right-handed batter. Saw a little bit of action last year as an 8th grader. She's got some speed. At first base is Kirchhoff. Yeager looks, wings it in. High for Ball. Took some off. 3-2 the count. And now to Dylan Ball. They play her straight away in center field. Cora Schultz, Haley Stokes in right, Addison Hoagie in left. Gracie Nath at third. Ariana Beekman at short. Kylie Schneider is at second. Here's the pitch off the handle of the bat.
Off the hand, yep.
And the count remains 3-2. Gracie Breckwald at first. Riley Yeager the circle. Hillary Rushy is the catcher for the Midgets from Northern Iowa. They had a 3-hour trip down here to Atlantic. They'll stay overnight and play in that tournament tomorrow. 3-2 pitch, swung on and lifted foul.
Keep battling. Keep battling.
Ball doing a good job at the plate, fighting off the pitch. We'll see what Yeager brings here with McLaren on deck. There's nobody down. The runner at first base is Zoe Kirchhoff. 2-2 game, bottom half of the first. Yeager signed pitch. Strike is cold on the inside corner. Strikeouts number 57 of the season for Yeager. As she gets Dylan Ball looking, now there's one down.
It's going to be Peyton McLaren.
Peyton McLaren will stand in for the Trojans. McLaren's had a good start as well. She showed power here early on. We'll see her sister Madison start in game number 2, by the way. 2-2 game. Here's the pitch. High for Ball to Peyton. McLaren, a right-handed batter against the right-handed thrower, Yeager. McLaren hitting .214 on the year. He does have 1 home run. That was against Harlan here this week. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Half swing. Strike called right on the outside corner. Beauty by Yeager. 1 on, 1 out, 2 in for Atlantic. 2-2. We're in the bottom half of the first. Pete McLaren at the plate, and then Jill Sontag on deck. McLaren outside the batter's box, takes a couple of whiffs in the back end. Yeager the sign. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Yeager takes a little off that, Roger.
Yeah,
Moore.
I think she did because she was way out ahead of that one.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom half of the first inning. Atlantic started just like Estherville Lincoln Central. The first 2 hitters hitting deep balls. Here's the pitch, high for a ball. 2-2 the count to McLaren. Jillian Satoff, the on-deck hitter for Atlantic. Jillian hitting 200 on the year. She has 1 home run. That was this week at Harlan as well. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Yeager. Back-to-back strikeouts, one looking, one swinging. Now Jillian Satoff will stand in, the first base person for Atlantic. Kirchhoff still at first base. 2-2 game with the bottom half of number 1. Satoff, a sophomore, will step in. Yeager looks in to Rushy to get the sign. And here's the pitch all the way to Jill Satoff. That one's inside for a ball. And the count is 1-0. Yeager this season with just 2 base on balls. She has 58 strikeouts now at the last 2 Ks for Yeager. And the 1-0 pitch is on the way, swung on and popped up. Second base person Snyder is there, makes the catch. And after Atlantic had 3 straight hits, 3 straight retired of the pop-up to second. And that'll be it for the Trojans. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We're tied at 2. We go the top half of the second right after this.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Top of the second inning, Grace Nath, Gracie Harris, Kylie Schneider to bat for the Midgets, 6, 7, and 8. We're tied at 2. Atlantic, 2 runs on 3 hits. And for the Midgets, they scored 2 runs on 2 hits. Cora Schultz led off the top of the first with a double. Riley Yeager drove her home with a triple. Haley Stokes had a bunt and brought home Yeager from third. Atlantic came back with 2 big hits in the bottom half of the first. McLaren throws one right down Broadway for a strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nath.
I'm sitting there watching Wiederstein. She's getting out, trying to get that ball out there in the outside corner.
Count is 0-1. Top of the second inning. McLaren wings it in, high for a ball. Count 1-1 to Gracie Nath for Estherville Lincoln Central. Nath on this season, and she's hitting .067. Not a lot of plate appearances, just 15. She has 1 hit so far this season. 1-1 pitch. There's a ball. There's a strike. Thank you.
Well,
I'm in a good spot here, that outside edge, Roger.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I just didn't know if it was high enough.
He's been doing a great job of hitting the corners there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McLaren ahead of the count. She has 1 strikeout so far. Here's the pitch coming in. There's a foul ball straight back. Count remains 1-2. McLaren.
I'll tell you what, I like guys that I like a big strike zone.
Yeah.
Game goes quicker, get you up there.
Yeah.
You got to hit the ball.
McLaren now with 21 strikeouts on the year. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Make it 22. And the back-to-back Ks for the sophomore thrower for Atlantic. And Gracie Harris, the DP, will stand in. Harris, a right-handed batter, top of the second. 2-2 ball game. Kylie Schneider on deck for Estherville Lincoln Central. McLaren looks in. The sign and the throw. That's a strike outside corner. Count 0-1. McLaren 3-1. 25 innings pitched. Now make it 26. 183 are what team's hitting against her. She's allowed 10 runs now on 19 hits. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Half swing. Did she go? Yeah, she did. And the count is 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to Grace Harris. Nobody on, 1 out for the Estherville Lincoln Central Midgets here in the top of the second.
That's what's nice about having a first and a third umpire, because you could call those.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Harrison
How about that?
struck out by Paige
3
McLaren.
Ks in a row for McLaren.
Next up,
23
eighth
strikeouts
batter
now in the
for
season.
ELC, second baseman, number 14,
Kylie Schneider
Schneider.
jump in. Kylie's right-handed batter, second base person.
You were talking about strikeouts. I don't know if it was my daughter or something like that. We were talking about, how'd you get 5? The Creston girl, she got her 500th strikeout.
Amazing.
I'm like, yeah, she's been pitching a while.
Yeah, that pitch low and in for a ball. 500 Ks. Count is 1-0 to Kylie Schneider, the freshman second baseman. Here's the 1-0 pitch. There's a ground ball foul down the left side. 1-1 the count. Looking at Schneider on the season, just a freshman, she's hitting .077. Couple of, in fact, 1 hit. She's got a couple of runs. 1 for 13 coming in. 1 ball, 1 strike to Schneider. Then Addison Hoagie on deck, the 9th hitter in the Midgets lineup. Nobody on, 2 down, 2-2 game. The pitch. Fastball's a strike, outside corner. McLaren's hitting that outside edge, Roger.
Yeah, and that's where she's got to keep it, because it makes it, if they do get a bat on the ball, then they can't get much on it.
1 ball, then 2 strikes to Schneider. A right-handed batter, righty against righty here. Here's the 1-2, low for a ball, 2-2 the count.
That's all right.
McLaren likes that, throw it low. She likes that knee-high pitch. Early in the season, I don't think she was getting it in a game. And
right.
2-2 pitch coming in, half swing, ball 3. 3-2 the count. Lila wanted.
Well, she had a question.
Yeah.
I mean, she did try to go, but
3-2 the count to Schneider. Back-to-back Ks for McLaren, trying to get out of here with unscathed. Here's the pitch coming, ball 4. So a 2-out walk for Schneider, and Hoagie will stand in.
That'll bring in number 9.
2-2 ball game.
17, the left fielder for the Midgets. It's
Addison Hoagie will step in, a left-handed hitter. 3 left-handed batters for the Midgets here in the lineup. Hoagie, a lefty here, will step in, and with 1 on and 2 down here in the top of the second inning, 2-2 game. Hoagie hitting .667. The pitch to Hoagie. Swung on and ripped to center field on the first topo, and this Schrader coming in, able to knock it down. And a single for Hoagie on the first pitch.
That'll go to the top of the order for the ELC.
So the Midgets
center fielder, Kara Schultz,
get a 2-out walk, and then they come back with that single by Hoagie. Now runners at first and second. Schneider at second, Hoagie at first. We're tied at 2. And Cora Schultz, who doubled her first time up and scored one of the 2 runs, stands in. The top of the order. The pitch coming, swing and a miss. Count 0-1 to Schultz. There is Schultz hitting .294 before this one. She's now 6 of 18 of the season. Just pitch on the way. Here it is, outside for a ball. Schneider at second, Hoagie at first, 2 down. McLaren had back-to-back Ks and then had that walk to Schneider, and Hoagie with a single up the middle. 1-1 the count to Schultz. And the pitch on the way from McLaren, swung on and fouled straight back. And the count is 1-2.
makes us jump back here.
Chuckling because I winced, and I'm, 50 feet away from there.
That, and there's a net and a window in front of you.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on a chopper to third. And snagged at third base by Kirchhoff. A nice stop, but a single, an infield single for Schultz. Good effort by Schroeder. Got by her, and then going to her right was Kirchhoff able to snag it to keep it in the infield.
Yeah, keep it in the infield.
For the Midgets.
So 2 for 2 goes Schultz with an infield single. Schneider to third and Hoagie to second. And here's Yeager. And here's Coach Hensman. He's going to come out and talk to his crew here. Yeager, a very dangerous hitter with the bases loaded. Schneider at third, Hoagie at second, and Schultz at first on that infield hit. And all this coming with 2 down here at the top of the second. We're tied at 2. And Riley Yeager, who tripled and drove in Schultz her first time up. And we mentioned Yeager's batting average of .833. Roger Warren, what do you do here?
Well, I know there's some logic to putting her on. I know that brings in a run, but you've got 3 other ones out there too. I mean, that's some logic. Or just pitch the ball to where you can't hit it.
Keep it down.
Keep it down. Just if she gets connected, she can't get a good shot on it.
Yeager's
you don't like to.
Excuse me.
Yeah, but you don't like to walk somebody in a situation like this because, but if she'd jacked one earlier, may have had a case for one.
Yeager is a slap hitter. She bats from the left side. Now the base is jammed for Estherville Lincoln Central. We're tied at 2 at the top of the second. Yeager hitting .833 before the game. Will stand in. Her first at bat, she made contact every time before she drove one deep. 2 down, bases jammed. Here's the pitch to Yeager. Low and away. The count is 1-0. So McLaren is not going to give her anything big. Everything's going to be in the corner or maybe even out of the strike zone. They may try to get her to chase one. Yeager steps in. Bases loaded, 2 down. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on a ground ball, hits the runner. She's out at third base.
She's out at third base.
The ground ball hit the runner, and that ends the inning. And how about that? Trojans get a break.
They got a break there.
Haley Schneider
No runs
on the bottom of the second
on
inning.
2 hits. No errors, and the Midgets leave the bases loaded at the top of the second inning. Atlanta gets a break on the ground ball that probably would have gone through.
Yeah, it was going to be a fair ball.
We're back in a minute on 95.7 FM, our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com.
Transit Agency helps all residents in our 8-county region get where they need to go, and you can be a part of their journey.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability...
With 2 down, the bases loaded. Yeager hitting well over 800. Tapped one down the left field line, down the third base line, I should say, and hit the base runner. Atlantic able to get out of the inning. And here comes a Schroeder, then Sontag, and then Bruce for Atlantic 7, 8, 9. 2-2 game. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. And in the circle, Yeager for Estherville Lincoln Central. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball is high and in. Right there on the inside edge, and the count is 1-0-1. Sontag on deck, and then Bruce up for Atlantic. Here in the bottom half of number 2. Trojans scored 2 runs on 3 hits in the bottom of the first. That pitch is swung on and missed. Schroeder with a big cut there. The count is 0-2. Sontag and then Bruce for the Trojans. Schroeder getting her first look at Yeager. Schroeder, right-handed hitter, hitting .259. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Outside for ball. 1-2 the count. Sontag, the lone senior on the team, hitting .318. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Schroeder. Swung on, a half swing, foul ball. Just barely.
I wish he would have finished the stroke.
Just tapped it. It ricochets to left field and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Schroeder, the third base person for Atlantic. Bottom of second inning. Yeager in the circle, 1 strikeout. Here's the pitch, low and in, and the count is even at 2-2, just missed inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Schroeder. Bottom of the second inning. Yeager the sign from Rushy. She'll wing it in. Swing and a miss. A strikeout for Yeager. Number 2 for Yeager. And for the senior pitcher for Estherville Lincoln Central. She came in with 56 strikeouts.
Sontag.
And now she has 58 strikeouts. She had 263 pitches coming in 26 innings. Here's McKenna Sontag, looks at one outside. Good eye, the count is 1-0. Bruce on deck for Atlantic, nobody on, one out. Bottom of the second inning, 2-2 ball game. Each team scoring a pair, and their side of the first inning. Yeager the sign from Rushy. Here's the 1-0 pitch, swung on and fouled straight back. Count 1-1 to Sontag. See what Yeager throws here. So far they've
mixing it up
a little bit.
Yep.
It's got a little bit of a riser. They'll get the sign from the dugout. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Sontag. Swing and a miss on a fastball high and in. And now the count goes to 1-2 to the senior.
Just got to make contact.
Sontag he stands even with the plate to the right side. Here's the 1-2 pitch. High for a ball. The count is even at 2-2. Riley Yeager with just 2 walks coming in and 26 innings of work. She has a couple of strikeouts, or 3 strikeouts here in this one. 1 ball, 2 balls, and 2 strikes to Sontag. Here's the pitch on the way, outside. Count goes full at 3-2.
Well, you got to protect the plate.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Sontag. She'll stand in for the Trojans. Here's the sign and the 3-2 pitch coming in. Swung off, the handle popped up. Shortstop Beekman is there to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down for Atlantic, and that'll bring up Adler Bruce, the 9th hitter in the lineup for the Trojans.
For Atlantic, number 11, Adler Bruce.
So Bruce will stand in for Atlantic, the junior hitting .091 of the season. She's 2 for 22 in the first 9 games for the Trojans. Nobody on and 2 down. Bottom of the second, 2-2 game. Here's the pitch. Fastball's a strike. The count is 0-1 to Adler Bruce. Yeager with 3 strikeouts so far in the game. No walks. Adler Bruce, a rod-headed hitter, 0-1 the count. Yeager wings it in. High for a ball, count 1-1. Boy, just 2 walks, Roger Warren. That's pretty good control.
Yeah, you might as well plan on it. She's going to be pulling some strikes.
1 ball and 1 strike to Bruce. 2 down for Atlantic. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on and fought off foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Bruce trying to keep the Trojans inning alive in the bottom half of the second. Wiederstein on deck, the leadoff hitter for Atlantic. 1-2 pitch coming in from Yeager. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for the frame. And that'll be it for Atlantic. 3 up and 3 down. We're back in a minute.
To the top of the 3rd inning.
From Godfather's Pizza in Olson's BP in Atlantic. This June, grab a...
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor. On behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep you going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep you going.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the top of the 3rd. We're tied at 2.
As we begin the top of the 3rd.
And for Estherville, Haley Stokes, Hillary Rushy, and Casey Breckball will bat. Atlantic dodged a bullet. Boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, they did.
Bases loaded. And Yeager hit a ground ball to hit a runner to end the inning. And all that came with 2 down.
Yep.
McLaren back to work. Haley Stokes, the hitter. Here's the pitch coming in. There's a fly ball, right field, base hit. Single for Stokes. to lead off the third. And the fifth hit for Estherville Lincoln Central here in the ball game.
27, the catcher,
Hillary Rushy will stand in. Rushy's second look at McLaren. Rushy flew to left her first time up. Adler Bruce was there to make the catch. One on, nobody down, 2-2. We're in the top of the third. Midgets at the plate. Breckwald on deck. Here's Rushy. And the pitch coming in. Fastball is striked on the outside edge. Perfect pitch. Outside corner, right at the knees. Count 0-1. McLaren with 3 strikeouts. She had 3 straight.
Well, this is your number 4 hitter. If she's in that position for a reason, I doubt if they're going to bunt her.
Right-hander against right-hander. Here's the pitch to Rushy. He's got 1 home run. There's a bunt down the first base line. It's going to be field foul just barely as Satoff races in and fields it foul. The count is 0-2 to Rushy. That was almost a perfect bunt.
It was.
And she almost fielded it too soon.
Yeah, you got to be smart on that. You just got to let it roll.
0-2 the count. 1 on and nobody down for the Midgets. Stokes at first base. Rushy at the plate. McLaren looks in, 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch on the way. Pop up infield. Kirchhoff, the shortstop, takes a couple of steps to her left towards second. Makes the catch, and there's one down.
Ball's going to be caught by the shortstop.
Good job by McLaren.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zoe Kirchhoff.
That's one of those plays.
It's going to be first baseman Casey Breckwald.
Zoe dropped the ball, touch second, and throw it to first, and you get 2 of them. If you could think that fast.
1 on.
Yeah, usually that backfires. But,
1 on and 1 out. Here's Breckwald, the hitter, lefty. Here's the pitch coming, swung on, popped up. McLaren, the pitcher, out of the circle, makes the catch. 2 straight pop-ups by McLaren.
Pop-up is caught by McLaren.
And now there's 2 down for the Midgets, just like that. After Haley Stokes' leadoff single, Rushy pops up, Breckwald pops up. Grace Nath will stand in. She struck out her first time up. 2-2 game, top of the third. 1 on and 2 down for the Midgets. Here's the pitch to Nath from McLaren on the way. Strike called, the count 0-1. Grace Harris on deck. Nath, a right-handed hitter. Came in with 1 hit and 1 of 16 on the season after her first at bat. Here's 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss.
Chase that one.
0-2 the count to Nath. 1 on and 2 down for the Midgets, top of the third inning. McLaren, he gets the side of the dugout. Nath steps back in. A righty against righty here. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on a ground ball to short. Kirchhoff gobbles it up. Fires to first for the out, and that'll be it. After a single, Atlantic retires the next 3 batters, and that'll be it. We'll head to the bottom half of the third, and we're tied at 2 apiece.
We move to the bottom half.
Third meat sale this weekend in your Atlantic Hy-Vee. Friday through Sunday only. Pork loin back ribs, $2.98 a pound.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Pitchers have settled in.
Yeah, they have.
And able to retire and get some strikeouts, keep people off base. And for Atlantic, they go to work with Wiederstein, the leadoff batter, 1, 2, and 3 for the Trojans. And that's where the Atlantic made their bank in the bottom half of the first. Wiederstein led off with a triple, and Schrader had a single. Kirchhoff had an RBI single. After that, Yeager retired 6 straight. 2-2 game, bottom of the third. Here's the pitch to Wiederstein. Bounces in for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Lila Wiederstein, the catcher, the junior. 545 batting average coming in, 10 RBI. 4 home runs, a couple of triples, now 3 triples of the year, 6 doubles, 6 singles. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Wiederstein. Swung on and missed. Boy, she chased one high and in.
She chased that one.
She knows it. Got a big grin on her face. 1-1 the count. I don't know if Yeager fooled her or whether Wiederstein was just that aggressive. Here's the 1-1 pitch. On the way, Wiederstein watched it fall in for strike. Now a 1-2.
She took a little air off of that one.
Yes,
Yeah,
she did.
Dropped her right in.
Nice drop ball by Yeager. 1-2 the count to Wiederstein. And Wiederstein has 2 strikeouts. That's it this season. That pitch is high for a ball. 1-2 to the junior. 2-2 count, I should say. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom half of the third, we're tied at 2. Yeager wings it in. Bounces low. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wiederstein. Wiederstein, a dangerous base runner as well with all that speed. Led off with a triple in the first inning and scored.
You want to sit on it?
3 balls and 2 strikes, Yeager. Back to work for the Midgets. The sign from Rushy. Here's the pitch. Swung on. And a line drive to third, knocked down by Nath. Fires to first. They're going to get the speedster. On a 5-3 play. Nath on a drive right at her. Knocked it down with her glove, but had a good throw to first.
Well, there was no hesitation. Pick it up and throw it.
Schrader.
Here's one down for Atlantic in the bottom half of the third. Now Schrader will stand in, singled her last time up. Atlantic 2 runs and 3 hits. Midgets 2 runs and 5 hits. Here's Schrader. Singled and scored in the first inning. Yeager back to work for the Midgets. Here's the pitch, a bunt down the third base line. That goes foul. Now the count is 0-1 to Schrader. McKenna Schrader hitting .259 on the year. Picked up her 8th hit of the season, 8 of 28. 7th single for her. Right-handed batter. 0-1 the count. Yeager's pitch coming. Fastball is a strike, and the count is 0-2. Again, hitting that outside corner.
Yep. Oh.
Schrader playing center field, steps back in. 0-2 the count. 2-2 game. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic here in the third. Here's the pitch. High and in. The count is 1-2.
I don't know if they would have asked on that one. She might have went around.
She was knocked down. That one Crowder off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. The strikeout for Yeager.
Schrader struck out.
And she has really settled in here now.
Shortstop number 3.
She's retired
Zoe
8
Kirchhoff.
straight Trojans. Zoe Kirchhoff, who singled and drove in a run of the first, will stay on in her second look at Yeager. But I'll tell you what, Riley Yeager has settled in. The senior is now retired 8 straight Trojan batters. There's a slow roller. Yeager charges. She's going to fire to first, and that'll be it for Atlantic. Another 1-2-3 inning.
Well, in 1-2-3, she threw that changeup. Zoe took it and just got it with the front of her bat. So
we go the top of the fourth. We're tied at 4. Back right after these.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Winnie Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Atlanta. We go to the top of the 4th inning. 1 of 3 games being played.
Estherville, Lincoln Central.
Game 2 will be Estherville, Lincoln Central, and Carlisle. Atlantic will play in game number 3 of the nightcap. We'll have the nightcap with Atlantic and Carlisle coming up a little bit later on. Here's Harris, the batter for the Midgets. A tapper to second. Sontag, a routine play with the out for 3 on Harris. And there's one down just like that.
Infield hit to Sontag.
Kylie Schneider will stand in. She walked and was left at third base in that second inning where the Midgets had the bases loaded with 2 down. And Schneider was left standing at third. In fact, the ball hit her as she was off the bases.
Number 13, that's Suri Shadow.
In the circle, McLaren. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, a hot shot in the hole and left base hit. Shadow, actually, number 13 was at the plate. Suri Shadow batting for Schneider, and boy,
on first base.
Good move by Coach Anderson as Shadow gets a base hit. And Shadow with her first hit of the season right there. In fact, that's her first base hit of the year. 1 on, 1 out for the Midgets in the top of the 4th. We're tied at 2. Addie Hoagie will stand in, and then the top of the order. So the flex player, here's the pitch coming, low and away for ball 1-0 the count. Shadow at first base with 1 on and 1 out for the Midgets, top of the 4th inning. And we're tied at 2. McLaren in the circle for Atlantic. And the 1-0 pitch is on the way. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count to lefty Addison Hoagie. And at the top of the order.
You bet. Well, just let those guys out watching this. I lost my feed on the score and stuff like that, but you've got the video feed, so I'm working on that.
Here's the 1-1 pitch coming in. Shadow at first. Here's the pitch swung on. A high fly ball left field. That's going to drift just foul down the left side. So she went the opposite way.
On the left side
just missed foul. The count is 1-2. Shadow will go back to first base with 1 on and 1 out here in the 4th inning. We're tied at 2. Both teams scoring a couple of runs in that first inning. Shadow at the plate. Hoagie on deck. McLaren in the circle for Atlantic. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Great pitch by Peyton McLaren. Gets the strikeout. Now there's 2 down.
Now we'll go to the top of the order for the Midgets.
That was a high pitch. She took some off of it. And Hoagie whiffed it. She was now 1 for 2. She singled her first time up. For the Midgets, they've scored 2 runs on 6 hits. Atlantic 2 runs on 3. Schultz, the batter. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back.
It's going to hit the top.
Schultz had a doubled and a single. She's 2 for 2 here in the ball game, hitting .294 before this afternoon, and she's elevated that average. Scored a run so far in the game. 1 on and 2 down for the Midgets. Top of the 4th inning, tied at 2. Schultz, a right-handed hitter. Here's McLaren, and the pitch coming in. The strike called a beauty. 0-2. Boy, McLaren is really getting
She's hitting the spots.
Man.
Just keeping them at bay.
1 ball and 2, 0-2, the count to Schultz. Yeager on deck. The pitch on the way from McLaren. Shadow at first. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. Knocked down by Kirchhoff. She's got to hurry. Here's the throw. The stretch by Satoff. And they get the out.
I'll tell you what. That stretch made the play.
Stretch out by Satoff.
Satoff made a great play at first.
Just enough to get her.
To the bottom of the 4th inning. Score till
Kirchhoff knocked it down. She's got a good arm. Able to recover. She launched it to first base, and Satoff did the splits. I mean, what a great stretch. Able to make the out, and that'll be it for the Midgets. No runs on a hit. No errors. They leave 1. We go the bottom half of the 4th. We've got a 2-2 game. We're back right after these.
You find the perfect one. Our extensive dealership network allows for amazing pricing and better vehicle selection. Plus, get a 5-year complimentary maintenance package with a new or used vehicle purchase, oil changes, tire rotations, and peace of mind on us. That's how Greg Young celebrates 25 years. Visit GregYoungAtlantic.com today.
Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
Limits apply. See dealer for details.
When it's time to think about trailers, think Olson's Outdoor Power. With over 100 trailers in stock at 2 locations, we've got the inventory to get you the right trailer at the right price. Come check out our ginormous inventory of H&H trailers built right here in Iowa. Whether it's a dump trailer for construction debris, utility trailer for hauling your side-by-side, or a cargo trailer that you know your friends and family are gonna try to borrow, we have more inventory than anyone around. Olson's Outdoor Power, the clear leader in trailers, with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
Dylan.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Dylan Ball will lead off for the Trojans. We're in the bottom half of the fourth, and we're tied at 2 apiece. Yeager in the circle for the Midgets, and she has retired 9 straight. Here's the pitch outside for a ball. Wiederstein tripled in the top of the first inning leadoff. Schrader had a single, and then Kirchhoff drove in a run, and the Trojans had a 2-2 game there with the Midgets, and that's been all the hitting. After that, Yeager's retired 9 straight. 1-0 pitch, swung on, pop up, second base, grabbed nicely. That's second by Schneider. 10 straight now by Yeager. And ball flies out. McLaren will stand in for the Trojans. Kate McLaren struck out her first time, huh? Right-handed hitter. Nobody on and 1 out for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the fourth. 2 runs on 6 hits for the Midgets, 2 runs on 3 hits for Atlantic. Here's the pitch to McLaren low for a ball. The count is 1-0. McLaren, a right-handed batter for the Trojans, doing a great job in the circle as well. 1-0 the count. Yeager looks in, ready to go back to work. Yeager gets the sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball is a strike, and the count is 1-1. Satoff on deck for Atlantic. Had a great defensive play her last time up. McLaren
we're back. I got it figured out.
1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch on the way. High for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. We're live streaming on WesternIowaToday.com TV and YouTube. It's powered by Nishnanet. 2 balls and a strike to McLaren. Here's the pitch by Yeager. Swung on a tapper to second. Schneider grovels it up. Fires to first. There's another out. Boy, Yeager's really settled in. 11 straight putouts.
Well, we're not getting the bat on the ball here in the last few bats. And we're making contact, which is good, but she's keeping them off balance.
Jillian Satoff will step in. Bottom half of the fourth. Nobody on and 2 down for Atlantic. We're tied at 2. Yeager goes to work. The righty for the Midgets. Here's the pitch. Low and in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Claire Schroeder on deck for Atlantic. If Satoff can get things going here, she popped up to Schneider her first time up. Satoff, a right-handed hitter. Yeager set of the circle. The count is 1-0 with nobody on and 2 down. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on a high chopper over the head of Yeager. Satoff's going to leg it out and get a base hit. So Atlantic gets a base runner with 2 down in this 4th inning.
Well, she hit that one solid, and it just happened to bounce up over.
So Satoff got a good bounce and hit it solidly for Atlantic. Now 1 on and 2 down here in the 4th. Here comes Schroeder. Atlantic picks up their 3rd hit and breaks that streak by Yeager.
Yes.
She had 11 straight putouts, and Satoff gets a hit. The 4th hit for the Trojans here in the game. We're tied at 2, bottom of the 4th.
String a few here.
Schroeder the batter. Here's Yeager's pitch, but here's charging is Yeager. She'll fire to first and get the out. Schneider covering, and that'll be it for Atlantic.
Hey, that was a good try.
It was a good try.
It was a great bunt, and she had a chance.
A 1-4 play there, and that's it for the Trojans. No runs, they got a hit. No errors, they left 1. After 4, we're tied at 2. Back right after these.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Yeager tripled and drove in a run and then ground out her 2nd time up. McLaren has pitched the distance. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and tap foul left side. Count 0-1 to Yeager.
Yeah, she's going to have to get her spots and keep it out and away from that slap. She gets it inside. Yeager's going to be able to move the basketball or move the ball.
Yeager is 7 RBI in the year. Looking at no home runs. She's basically just a slap hitter, but she did have that triple in the first inning. There's a line drive base hit by Yeager. My goodness, hitting 8:33 coming in.
Line drive by
And
Yeager.
now Yeager is 2 for 3.
Number 16, right fielder for Estherville Lincoln Central, Haley Stokes.
So a single for Yeager. She's aboard here at the top of the 5th inning. We're tied at 2, and Stokes will bat for the Midgets. Stokes, a right-handed hitter. And now time is called by Coach Hinsman here as he'll step to the circle. While he does that, we'll have a game recap. In the top of the first, Schultz with a double. Yeager had an RBI triple. Haley Stokes had a RBI bunt, and it was a 2-0 lead for Estherville Lincoln Central after one half. Lila came to bat facing Yeager for the first time. Lila Wiederstein led off with a triple, and then McKenna Schrader had a single. And Zoe Kirchhoff with an RBI single as well. RBIs for Schrader and Kirchhoff in the frame, and Atlantic tied it at 2-2. Well, then Yeager went to work, and she retired 11 straight before Satoff broke that string. In the meantime, McLaren pitching just as effectively. She had one blemish, though. The bases were loaded in that second inning, and they left them that way. And since then, McLaren has been pretty sharp for the Trojans.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes you're better lucky than good. So, but that's just one of those circumstances.
So time called by Coach Hinsman. The meeting in the circle is over. And Rushy on deck, Stokes the batter. Yeager at first base. And we're getting to a point where one run may be the difference here, Roger Warren.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what Coach Henman might have been talking about. There's a bunt. Right back where it came from. McLaren will throw it. McKenna Son taking it first, gets the out. Well, I tell you what, the Trojans,
first base by McLaren, caught by Sontag.
They don't think, they just do. And
I'll tell you what, they made a great play on it. That was an absolutely wonderful bunt. So you got to make the play.
A sack bunt. On to second is Yeager. She's 120 feet away from the lead. We're the top of the 5th. We're tied at 2. Hillary Rush at the plate. One on and one out. McLaren in the circle brings the pitch. Swing and a miss. Rush 0 for 2. Flew out to left and popped up to short. Yeager, the runner at second base. She's 2 for 3. A triple and a single. And 1 RBI. Here's the 0-1 pitch by McLaren. Low for a ball. Count 1-1.
Good placement, though.
Reckwald on deck for Estherville. Midgets, 2 runs on 7 hits. Atlantic, a pair of runs on 4. They're trying to keep the Midgets from scoring here in the top of the 5th. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on, popped up. Playable for the senior Sontag. Eye to the sky. Makes the catch for Atlantic. There's 2 down. That's a big out right there. Big out right there. Now there's 2 down. Sontag a hand in the last 2 outs.
Up the back for the Midgets.
And Breckwald will step in.
Casey Breckwald.
Yeager stands as second. Breckwald, a left-handed batter, steps in. She's 0 for 2. Struck out and popped up to McLaren. Here's the pitch on the way.
Ooh, good spot.
Yeah, and she got a strike.
Oh, she got one.
0-1 that counts. Yeager at second base. We're tied at 2 at the top of the 5th inning. Breckwald at the plate. Right against lefty here. And the 0-1 pitch is on the way. High for a ball. 1-1 the count.
Yep.
This is a big at-bat right here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You've got Yeager at second. And you've got Breckwald at the plate. 2 down. McLaren looks in. The 1-1 pitch is on the way. Here it is. High for a ball.
Well, keep in mind, you got a base open. You don't give her anything good.
Breckwald hitting .333.
Right. I mean, she's a good hitter, but you don't want to give her anything good because she's still got a base open.
2 balls and a strike to Breckwald. Top of the 5th, we're tied at 2. Runner at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses away. 3-1 the count. Hitters count now for Breckwald. Yeager at second base. 1 on and 2 down. Yeager led off with a single. Then 2 straight outs. Stokes had that sack bunt, and Rushy popped up. 3-1 the count to McLaren. Eyes to the mid of Wiederstein. She'll wing it in. Swung on and fly ball to center, playable. Back. Makes the catch in center field. Schrader had misjudged it. As I mentioned, looked like a routine play. About ate my words. And then Schrader regathered herself.
To the bottom of the 5th inning.
And she raced towards the fence, and she caught a snow cone out there in center field.
Snow cone was because we could see the ball still in her glove.
Great recovery by McKenna Schrader in center field. That was maybe the play here. I
think she might have turned something when she turned around because she come in hobbling a little bit.
So
maybe I'm just imagining.
Breckwald sent it flying, and Schrader, she did do about a 380 there, and 360 I should say.
Yeah.
Maybe a 180, but she's able to kind of just reset a little bit and make the catch. It looked routine, but that ball was sailing out there in center field. Bottom of the 5th inning coming up. In the top half of this frame, the Midgets, no runs. They got a leadoff hit from Yeager, and she was left at second base. We go the bottom half of the 5th and see what the Trojans can do here.
Well, like I said, 1 run may do it, so keep playing it.
Midgets have 2 runs on 7 hits. They got another hit in that frame, and McLaren just doing a tremendous job in the circle for Atlantic, as is Yeager for Estherville Lincoln Central. Warm-ups are about complete. Atlantic will go with Sontag, Bruce, and then the top of the order here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Tied at 2, Sontag and then Bruce, and then Wiederstein. Something's got to give here. Bottom half of number 5. Carlisle and Estherville Lincoln Central play in game number 2 here. Atlantic will sit it out, and they'll finish off the night against Carlisle. Yeager looks in, gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Sontag with a bunt foul. Straight back, and the count is 0-1. And McKenna Sontag for the Trojans.
I kind of wondered if she wasn't going to try that.
We'll see what they do here. I imagine she'll be swinging away at this point. And Sontag hitting .318, a .348 on base percentage. Slugging percentage of .455. She has 3 doubles on the year. The count is 0-1. Here's the pitch to McKenna. Outside for a ball. The count is 1-1. Sontag into the contest, 7 of 22, 4 singles, 3 doubles, 2 RBI. Walked just once. He makes contact. Here's the 1-1 pitch, the senior. Another bunt attempt at beauty down the third base line. Charging Nath. Fires to first and gets the out.
Oh.
Good bunt by Sontag.
Turned out by the
nice try.
First base.
You got to make them play. Make them make the play.
And both these teams play good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both solid groups, and you can see why Coach Hensman likes this matchup.
Right.
To play teams like Estherville Lincoln Central.
They've been doing it a long time because they're both quality ball clubs, and it's good to get that many games in.
Well, these two teams have some history. Back in 2016 when Atlantic went to the state softball tournament, I think 16 anyway, they played, I think, for 7th place.
Right.
And Atlantic was able to win that game. Back in 16, they win again in 18 and 21. 16, 18, and 21 when Atlantic's been to the state tournament. They've been in the regional finals, I think, 12 times under Hensman. Here's the pitch, bunt miss for strike. Adler Bruce the batter. Nobody on and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. We're tied at 2-2. Bruce struck out her first time up. The right-handed hitter for the Trojans. She'll play center field in game number 2. Here's the 0-1. There's a little looper. Foul and caught. In foul territory by the first base person, Breckwald.
That ball's caught by first base.
And there's 2 down for Atlantic.
That's Casey Breckwald on the
Wiederstein to the plate, and she can make a difference here with a home run. Wiederstein with 4 home runs on the year, and she'll stand in, and I'm sure Yeager and company is well aware of that.
Yeah.
2 down for the Trojans, bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch, low for ball. That one bounces in, count is 1-0. Wiederstein, a triple and ground out, and it was a hard hit ball to third. It was a nice play by Grace Nath. 1 ball, no strikes to the junior Wiederstein. Right-handed hitter. Yeager set to go. Here's the pitch on the way. High for a ball. The count is 2-0. She's not going to give her anything.
I don't know. If she does put her on.
Well, then you got Schrader.
Well, then you got Schrader. If she gets a base hit with Lila's speed, she can make it all the way around.
Yeager the sign. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball to strike. 2-1 to Wiederstein. Here in the bottom half of the fifth, we're tied at 2. Atlantic, 2 runs and 4 hits. Wiederstein back in. The right-hander gets right-hander Yeager. Here's the pitch on the way. Change-up's a strike. Wiederstein wasn't going to get much on that anyway. She held back on it.
Yep.
Good pitch by Yeager. Change-up that goes to the outside edge. 2-2 the count as Yeager comes fighting back after falling behind 2-0. Here's the pitch on the way. High for a ball, 3-2. He's throwing nothing but junk here to Wiederstein. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I would have guessed a change-up here. With 2 down in the bottom half of the fifth inning, we're tied at 2. Nobody on for Atlantic. Here's the pitch. Fastball is a strike 3 call. What a beauty by Yeager. Wow.
Wiederstein struck out.
Right on the outside corner.
Top of the 6th. Still
and we go to the
2-2.
6th, and we're tied at 2. We're back right after these.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1920.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
6th inning. 2-2 ball game between the Midgets and the Trojans. Nath will bat, then Harris and Schneider. They're scheduled to bat anyway here in their side of the 6th inning. Midgets 2 runs and 7 hits. Atlantic 2 runs and 4. 6, 7, 8 will bat for Estherville, Lincoln Central. McLaren in the circle. 4 strikeouts. Here's the pitch coming. Pop up. Left center. That's a tough one. Here comes Bruce, though, and makes the play in the gap. Just enough air underneath it. Bruce has good speed. Able to get in and make the play, and there's 1 down for the Midgets here at the top of the 6th inning.
For ELC, that's going to be Grace Harris.
Grace Harris will step in, struck out swinging. Ground out of the 4th inning, 0 for 2. McLaren in the circle for Atlantic has gone the distance. Set to go, the sign from Wiederstein, and she'll wing in the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike, the count 0-1. Kaylee Schneider on deck, or maybe, nope, it's going to be Shadow. Shadow pinch hit for Schneider, got a base hit back of the 4th. So Shadow will hit. Here's the pitch coming in from McLaren, 0-1. The count, here's the pitch on the way. He just missed away. Oh, they called a strike. And the count is 0-2. Miles and 2 strikes to Harris. Right-handed hitter, the DP. Batting for Beekman, the flex, who's playing shortstop. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. A strikeout for McLaren. And the first 2 retire for the Midgets at the top of the 6th.
I would say that was a little farther inside than the last one and stuff.
Brings in number 13 for ELC. That's going to be Suri Shadow.
Shadow will step in as Siri. A right-handed hitter, 1 for 1. Pitch hitting for Schneider back in the 4th inning. We're in the 6th. Here's the pitch, swing, and a miss. The count is 0-1. Nobody on and 2 down for Estherville, Lincoln Central, top of the 6th inning. 2-2 game. Only scorers coming in the first. Both teams putting a pair across. Here's McLaren, the sign from Wiederstein. And the 0-1 pitch coming in. Missed outside for a ball. 1-1 the count, close work. And she's just been living on that outside edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that keeps the thing away from the batter, so they can't get the bat on the ball effectively.
1 ball and 1 strike. The shadow. Here's the sign of the pitch. Swing and a miss and a high fastball to the count is 1-2. Nobody out and 2 down for the Midgets here in the top of the 6th. Series shadow at the plate. Right against righty here. 1-2 the count. McLaren quickly back to work. And here's the pitch coming in. Swing and a miss for strikeout. Back-to-back Ks. And the Midgets go down in order here in the top of the 6th inning. We're tied at 2. Back in a minute.
Southwest Iowa Transit Agency helps all residents in our 8-county region get where they need to go, and you can be a part of their journey. SWITA is currently searching for drivers across Southwest Iowa. SWITA staff.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
At 2-2, Yeager going to work against McKenna Schrader of Atlantic. Schrader 1 for 2 with an RBI single at first. Here's the pitch off the handle, swings, and it fouls off right side. Schrader back in, a right against righty here. 2, 3, and 4 to bat for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Trojans 2 runs and 4 hits. Midgets 2 runs and 7. Schrader had one of those hits. Kirchhoff had the other, as well as Wiederstein and Satoff for Atlantic. Yeager in the circle. Brings the 0-1 pitch. There's a line drive right center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. And in the second hit for Schrader tonight, singles to right to lead off the bottom half of the 6th. So now we start talking about the lead run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lead run at first for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. We're tied at 2. Kirchhoff at the plate, a dangerous hitter. 1 for 2. She singled and drove in a run, and she ground out of the 3rd.
Right. I think you got to let Zoe swing away, but.
Yeager in the circle. Atlantic with their 5th hit. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Kirchhoff with a wicked swing there. And the count is 0-1 to Kirchhoff, the right-handed batter for the Trojans. Kirchhoff hitting .625 coming in. Second pitch to Kirchhoff in route here. 0-1 the count. And this one high and in for a ball. The count is 1-1. On deck is Dylan Ball for the Trojans. Ball is 0 for 2, a strikeout looking, and a pop up to second. Schrader at first base for Atlantic. 1-1 the count, 1 on and nobody down. We're tied at 2, bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. That was a changeup, now 1-2.
Yep. Took it off her foot.
Kirchhoff, 11 singles, 7 doubles. Couple of home runs, 18 RBI, now 19 RBI. She picked up her 12th single of the season back in the 1st inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Yeager with a pitch on the outside edge. And a big strikeout for Yeager.
Struck out, that'll bring in Dylan Ball for Atlanta.
Now there's 1 out for the Trojans, 1 on and 1 down. Bottom of the 6th inning, we're tied at 2. Ball the batter, right-handed hitter. Dylan Ball will step in. Hitting .393 in the season is Ball.
I could see a bunt here to move her.
1 out. Schrader brings it. Yep, there's the bunt down the third base line of beauty. Charging Nath, fires to first and the air at first base. Ready to third is Schrader. Atlantic has a chance now with the lead run at 60 feet away and an error by on the throw.
Well, that's why you got to make them play it.
And Schrader ends all the way to third base. So Ball is safe on the error. The throw beater, but it was dropped. And now Atlantic has runners at first and third. And Coach Meg Anderson wants to call a timeout. And the Trojans threatening here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. It all started with Schrader's single. Kirchhoff struck out, and then Ball with that bunt. It was a beauty down the third base line. Nath was charging, fired to first, and couldn't get the squeeze. The ball was dropped, and Schrader ends up at third base. Ball at first with one out.
We got runners at the corner with one out.
And Megan Anderson, the coach for Estherville Lincoln Central, talking to her troops here. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning, tied at 2. Boy, I tell you, Coach Hesman, he likes to play small ball when need be, and you can tell they've worked a lot on bunting, Roger Warren.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
They're excellent bunters.
You've got to have that in your arsenal, and you got to make teams play it. Yes, you're giving them up, but they still got to make the play.
So the meeting is over in the circle. We're going to have a runner, I believe, for Atlantic. It's going to be Dylan. Nope, Dylan's back. Never mind. Dylan Ball back at first. Peyton McLaren can help herself here. The pitcher for Atlantic. Runners at first and third. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't lay down a bunt here.
Well, you got an argument for that one.
Here we go. Runners at first and third. Here's the pitch, and the bunt attempt is a strike. Down the middle, she pulled back. That's going to get the runner to second base. Dylan Ball, unscathed. They don't care about Ball. They care about the runner at third, and that's Schrader. We're tied at 2, bottom of the 6th inning. Peyton McLaren at the plate. The count is 0-1. Yeager set to go. Here's the pitch. High for Ball. 1-1 the count. Ball at second. At third base is Schrader. The lead run at third. We're in the bottom half of the 6th. 2 on and 1 out for the Trojans. Here's the 1-1 pitch to McLaren on the way. Swing and a miss. The count is 1-2. Ball at second base. Schrader at third.
2 strikes.
2 strikes on McLaren. 1 ball and 2. The lead run at third base for Atlantic. We're tied at 2-2 here in the 6th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gets a strikeout. Throw to third out in time. Yeager with a big K. Now there's 2 down for Jillian Satoff, who singled her last time up.
Atlantic High School.
Now you got to swing the bat. 2-2 game, bottom half of the 6th. Runners at second and third for the Trojans. At third base is Schrader. The lead run for Atlantic here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yeager looks in to get the sign, and she'll wing in to pitch to Satoff. Swung on and missed for a strike.
A good cut.
Yeager
just handcuffed her.
Nice pitch on the inside edge. Satoff back in, the first base person for the Trojans. 2 on. Runners at second and third, 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. And that's going to drift foul. It hit down the third base line. It had enough English on it that it went across foul. And Satoff breathes a sigh of relief and gets another shot at it. Yeah, that might have been trouble anyway.
They wouldn't have got her out if it would have died. It's just whether or not Schrader would have run over the top of it.
0-2, Schrader at third. Dylan Ball, the runner at second for Atlantic. We're down 2-2 tie with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 6th. The pitch. Swung on, fouled straight back.
You bet.
Satoff heading down first, has to come back. Ball will head back to second, Schrader at third. Schrader led things off with a single. Kirchhoff struck out. Ball then put down a bunt. The throwing arrow to first. That allowed Schrader to go to third. Ball then stole second. But the main runner right now is at third. Here's the pitch. Satoff high and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeager tried to get her to chase a Batman. Satoff had nothing to do with that high pitch. 2 down, bottom of the 6th, 2-2 game. Atlantic has a chance with a runner at third, a runner at second. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Satoff, high ground ball to third. Scooped up by Nath. Fires to first and gets the out at first base.
Made the play.
A hard hit ball by Satoff, but a 5-3. And that ends the inning for Atlantic. We go to the top of the 7th. We're tied at 2-2.
There's nothing better than the rolling hills, crops, and pasture here in Iowa.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842 800-808-8065 or visit SWITA.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years.
Now, we're in the top of the 7th inning. Tied at 2-2. The batter is Hoagie, the 9th hitter of the lineup, to the top of the order. Here's the pitch to Hoagie. Looks at one inside for a ball. And, boy, Coach Anderson is looking like, hey, we've got the top hitters coming up here for us. 1, 2, and 3 with Schultz and Yeager set to bat here in the top of the 7th. 2-2 game. Here's the pitch to Hoagie. That's a strike, and the count is 1-1. Hoagie 1 for 2, singled back in the 2nd, and struck out of the 4th. Her 3rd look at McLaren here at the top of number 7. Midgets, 2 runs and 7 hits. Atlantic, 2 runs and 5. Here's the pitch on the way. Hoagie looks at a strike, and the count is 1-2. Good pitch by McLaren. Right on the outside edge. She had 2 strikeouts back in the 6th.
Be good for a strikeout here. You don't want to put the number 9 batter on the bases.
6 strikeouts, McLaren here in the game. No walks. That pitch is swung on and missed. 7 strikeouts for McLaren. Now we go to the top of the order with Corey Schmitz with nobody on and 1 out for the Midgets. We're tied at 2-2. Schultz doubled the 1st inning, singled the 2nd. Ground out of the 4th. She's 2 for 3. Riley Yeager's on deck for Estherville, Lincoln Central, top of the 7th. 2-2 ball game. McLaren looks in. The sign, here's the pitch on the way. Low for a ball. The count is 1-0. Top of the order, Schultz. Right-handed hitter for the Midgets. McLaren, the righty for Atlantic. Set. Winds her up. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. And the count is 1-1 to Schultz. Hitting .294 before this game. She's 2 for 3 with a triple. There's double and a single, 2 for 3. Yeager on deck had that RBI triple. Driving in Schultz in the 1st inning, and Yeager scored the other run for the Midgets. Here's the pitch on the way. Changeup is swung on and missed. What a beauty by McLaren. Now the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of number 7. Nobody on and 1 out for the Midgets. Schultz back in. Here's the pitch coming from Peyton McLaren. Swung on, lifted high to left. Bruce has it in her eyeball and puts it down. Nice job by Bruce in deep left. Makes the catch. Now there's 2 down for Yeager. What do you do here?
Number 19, the senior pitcher.
I guess you throw to her. What difference does it make? I mean,
yeah, you got
either way,
just pitch to her.
Throw.
Yep.
Yeager has a triple RBI and a single. And she had a sharply hit ball down the 3rd base line that hit a runner and forced the inning to end. And Yeager at the plate. Here's the pitch, and she looks at one high for a ball. 1-0 the count. Nobody on. 2 down. The lead runner for the Midgets at the plate, Riley Yeager. Getting over 800 coming in. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball to strike. 1-1 the count to the slap hitter. Where's number 19, the senior for Estherville, Lincoln Central. Yeager back in. McLaren looks in. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a strike on the outside edge. Now the count is 1-2. Nobody on it, 2 down for Estherville. Top of the 7th inning, we're tied at 2. Estherville will play Carlisle next. Atlantic will take on Carlisle in the nightcap. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch on the way, and it is swung on and fouled off against the netting left side. Yeager stays alive with 2 out.
I apologize to those watching. I lost my numbers feed, but again, so
we still have the.
We got the video. You're watching the game and you're listening to Tom.
Yeah.
That's all you need to listen to. So if I'm going to be quiet for a while, I'm trying to find it.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Yeager. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. Now the count is even at 2-2, and McLaren really careful throwing to this outstanding hitter for Estherville Lincoln Central. Nobody on it, 2 down. We're tied at 2 here at the top of the 7th inning. McLaren looks over at Molly O'Hara, the pitching coach for Atlanta, gets the sign. And the 2-2 pitch to Yeager. Here it is. Swung on. A line drive base hit. The lead run for Yeager. She'll go to second base, and she's going to slide in, but didn't need to. Trojans had a little trouble gathering it out in center field.
Base strike by Yeager.
The Yeager gets a double.
The right fielder, number 16, Stokes.
And now the lead run for Estherville at second base. Haley Stokes, the batter. And Stokes ground out in the first inning, single the third, and had that sac bunt of the 5th. And Estherville Lincoln Central now 2 runs on 8 hits. And here comes Stokes. The lead run at second base with 1 on and 2 down, 2-2 game, top of the 7th for Estherville. And the pitch from McLaren coming in. That's a strike called. We owe you a station identification coming up here in a moment. You're listening to high school softball on KSWY Atlantic. Stokes back in. Yeager, the lead run at second base with 2 down. We're tied at 2. Here's the pitch. Swung on a deep left center field. That will give the Midgets the lead. Yeager rounds third and scores, and Estherville now up 3-2. Stokes with an RBI double. And we've got a 3-2 game. The Midgets with the lead. Stokes with a timely hit for Estherville. And Hillary Rushy will stand in. We're the top of the 7th. 1 on and 2 down and 1 in. 3-2 game, Estherville. Rushy, a rod-headed batter. 0 for 3. She's made contact, swings and fouls that one off. Flew out to left, popped up to short, popped up to second base. Stokes at second. Yeager, who had a 2-out double, scores. And it's a 3-2 game. Midgets with the lead. They've scored.
Stop it right here.
3 runs and 9 hits. And the pitch is on the way. Swung on and fouled straight back. Now the count is 0-2. 2 hits in this frame. They went down in order back in the 6th. It's been the top of the order, though, for Estherville that has made all the noise here in this game. McLaren takes her time here. The count 0-1 with 1 on and 2 down. The sign and the delivery. Swung on and ripped to center. That may score another. Rounding third is Stokes, and she'll score, and it's a 4-2 game. Stokes will score on Rushy's single. And RBI, and now Midgets have 4 runs on 10 hits. We've got a courtesy runner. Reckwall will bat for Estherville. So an insurance run, a big one there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you just got to shut it down here and get the bats rolling.
Absolutely. That gets a chance there. We do you a station identification.
5.7 is KSWI Atlantic, a proud part of Meredith Communications. KS 95.7.
Here's the pitch on the way, and that one's low for a ball. Want to know the count? To Casey Breckwall, the left-handed hitter. Struck out, popped up, flew out to center field.
First base is going to be Brittany Pettow.
Rushy at first with an RBI. 2 in now, 4-2 Estherville. They've scored 4 runs and 10 hits here in the game. And the pitch is on the way. Here it is. Change up, in strike on the inside edge. Count 1-1. Timely hits.
I'll tell you what, Peyton's been pitching a hell of a game. It's just, tell you what, you know, they put the bat on the ball and.
Second pitch coming in here. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch, low and away. 2 balls and a strike to Breckwald. Rushy at first base. Yeager scored. Stokes scored. They had extra base hits here in the frame with 2 down. That's a sign of another great ball club when you can make some noise with 2 outs. That pitch is popped up. Sontag, the second base person, comes out of the green and makes the catch at the end of the inning. Well, Atlantic has some work to do. As the Midgets score 2 runs on 3 hits, they now have 4 runs on 10 hits. Atlantic with 2 runs and 5 hits coming to bat in the bottom half of the 7th inning. We're back right after these.
Elegant Retreat that offers aesthetic dermatology services and professional-grade skincare products. Our team provides appointments for Botox, dermal fillers, and resurfacing treatments. And we recently added esthetician services including Diamond Glow dermabrasion, facials, waxing, brow tinting, eyelash tints and lifts, and exfoliating treatments. Now open Tuesday through Thursday, the Cass Health Med Spa team is ready to help you look and feel your best. Learn more and schedule your appointments online at casshealth.org/medspa.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we believe your financial plan should reflect what matters most to you. Whether you're preparing for retirement, managing your assets, or facing life's next big decision, our experienced team will help you create a strategy aligned with your goals and values. With offices in Atlantic, Harlan, and Shenandoah, we offer clear, personalized guidance designed to help you stay on track no matter what life brings. Call Aaron Friend or Mick Allen at 712-207-3521 or visit oakpointwealth.com to start planning your financial future today.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Great Valley Advisor Group at Registered Investment Advice. Great Valley Advisor Group and Oakland.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, and we've got a 4-2 game. Estherville Lincoln Central, they scored 2 runs on 3 hits to the top of the frame. The batter for Atlantic is Schroeder. Claire is 0 for 2, struck out and ground out. Yeager's gone the distance. 4-2, Midgets with the lead. Here's the pitch on the way to Schroeder. That one's outside edge for strike. 1-1 the count. Sontag and then Bruce. 7, 8, 9 to bat for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Trojans need some base runners, down by a pair. 4-2. Those 2 runs coming the top of the 7th. That pitch is a strike called. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Schroeder. Atlantic needs 2 to send it to extras, needs 3 to win. You're in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch on the way, and it is rolling in for a ball, and the count is 2-2. Trojans scored 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning, and that's all they've been able to muster. They picked up a hit in the 4th. That was Satoff, another hit in the 6th inning. That was Schroeder. Or Schrader, rather. Here's the pitch to Schroeder. High for a ball. Count is 3-2. Yeager yet to walk a batter.
I don't think she's going to walk one. You better be able to hit this.
Count is full, 3-2. She only had 2 walks coming in 56 innings. There's a fly ball foul. There's a couple of people visiting out there in the right field, and tell you what, they about got a wake-up call there.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
And the count is 3-2. Yeager's pitch to Schroeder. Swing and fouled straight back. He'll stay alive. Struck out and ground out, Schroeder. There's Schroeder, the third base person. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Schroeder will bat in the 2 spot in the game tonight against Carlisle. Here's the pitch coming in, and is swung on and fouled back. Schroeder
got a piece
hanging
of it
in there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Leading off the bottom half of the 7th. Trojans 5 hits in the game. Schroeder back in. Yeager battling in a 3-2 count with nobody down. Schroeder, Sontag, Bruce here in the 7th. Here's the pitch. Swung on. There's a drive to right. Back, and it makes the catch. Haley Stokes.
Good contact.
Is going to be caught.
Stokes in right field makes the grab. There's one down. Here comes McKenna Sontag, the senior,
Next up to the plate for
at the
Trojans,
plate.
Number 1, McKenna Sontag.
Sontag popped up, ground out for Atlantic. 4-2, Estherville Lincoln Central with the lead. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. Trojans.
Claire got contact on that. It's just all she can do.
Went with the pitch even out to right to the field. And Haley Stokes made the grab in right field. Here's the pitch on the way to Sontag. Swing and a miss. Count 0-1. Adler Bruce on deck for Atlantic, the 9th hitter in the Trojan lineup. 4-2 bookend scores for Estherville. 2 in the first, and they scored 2 in the top of the 7th to take the lead. Midgets. Here's the pitch. Fastball to strike. Count is 0-2. Sontag, a right-handed batter, hitting over 300 of the year. It's with some power. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on and fouled off. Fouled off her left arm, I believe.
Yep, I believe you're right.
She's told the umpire, I'm okay. He's going to let her.
She's not going to say it.
She's not going to run any dirt on it either. She's just going to stand back in there. That one ricocheted right off her. I think it was her left arm.
Yep.
0-2 the count to Sontag. 4-2 Midgets. Nobody on, one out for Atlantic. Here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. The strikeout for Yeager. Now the Midgets are 1 out away with a 4-2 lead here in the bottom half of the 7th.
Number 11, Adler Bruce.
And we do have a pitch hitter for Atlantic. It's going to be, check that, I believe it's going to be Madison McLaren. And that's going to be the case. So McLaren will bat. In fact, she's going to start in game number 2 in right field for Atlantic. Tonight against Carlisle.
For the Trojans, it's going to be number 19, Madison McLaren.
So McLaren will stand in with nobody on and 2 down for the Trojans, bottom half of the 7th. Midgets up 4-2. Madison will stand in for the Trojans. A right-handed batter for Atlantic. Just an 8th grader, a youngster here hitting 200. There's the pitch, fastball. Just missed inside. The count is 1-0. Yeager, 1-2. 3, 4, 5 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, 7, 8, 9 Ks for Yeager. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted high. Shallow right. In comes Stokes. Makes the grab, and that'll be it for Atlantic.
Caught by the right fielder for the ELC.
They go down in order in the 7th inning. And that is it for this one.
Ball game.
Game number 1. It was a great game. Estherville Lincoln Central wins it 4-2. And now they'll regroup and they'll take on Carlisle in game number 2. Atlantic. They'll take a break and they'll play the nightcap. And we'll take a break and we'll have the Trojans in Carlisle in game number 2 here a little bit later on this evening. But first, we're going to wrap this one up. We're going to be back in 2 minutes on 95.7 FM and our live video stream on WesternIowaToday.com.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. Or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
And they took a 4-2 lead, and then Yeager's just too tough in the circle to shot the Trojans down in order, and that ended the game. As we take a look back, it was Kara Schultz of the Midgets with a double lead off the top of the first inning. Riley Yeager then had a triple drive her home. Haley Stokes then had a bunt, and right back where it came from, a sack bunt, and that drove home Yeager, and that gave the Midgets a 2-0 lead. But Atlantic came right back and responded with 2 runs of their own there in the first inning. Wiederstein led off with a triple, and then Schrader had an RBI single, and Kirchhoff an RBI single that drove home Schrader. Atlantic tied the game at 2-2. Both pitchers settled in. Nothing going on for the most part until late in the ballgame. I will say this, though. The Midgets did load the bases in the second, but Atlantic able to get out of there.
Right.
And both pitchers, again, like I said, settled in. Estherville, they picked up a couple of hits in the first, a couple of hits in the second, one in the third, one in the fourth, one in the fifth, and they had 3 hits in that 7th inning and counted for 4 runs. When you look at the lines here, Kara Schultz went 2 for 4 at the plate with a double and a single. Riley Yeager hitting over 800 coming in. She was 3 for 4 with a triple, a single, and a double. Haley Stokes finished with 2 hits. In fact, she had 2 sacrifices, so Stokes was 2 for 2 with a double and a single and 2 RBI. Also getting hits for the Midgets. Kylie Schneider went 1 for 2 with a walk, and Addison Hoagie 1 for 3 in the ball game for the Midgets. For Atlantic, Lila Wiederstein went 1 for 3. She had a triple and scored, and it was Schrader with a single to the back of the first inning, and she went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Kirchhoff went 1 for 3 with a single and RBI for Atlantic. Also, Jillian Saintoff had a single for the Trojans. Final score 4-2. It was the win for Estherville Lincoln Central. Now they'll take on Carlisle in game number 2. We're going to step away. We'll go back to our studios, and we'll return a little later on this evening, probably around 7 o'clock for pregame coverage. We'll have it live video streamed on westerniowatoday.com, and also powered by Nishnanet, and also we'll have on the radio here 95.7 FM. We'll break away, and we're back here about 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining us for Game 1. We'll have Game 3 coming up a little bit later on between Atlantic and Carlisle.
Huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Your home for the no repeat workday is KS 95.7.